Say hello to my guest, Albert Yuan, LSI 2023. Albert, thank you for coming by the studio.
Thank you for having me.
So apparently, LSI Day 3, it's been a pretty good conference for you. Tell me how it's been.
It has been great. I met so many great people, made so many new connections. It's been great. I love it. It's my first time here too.
So tell us more about your company. What stage are you at? What's going on?
Yeah, so I'm the CEO and founder of ConKay Medical Systems. I started this company 3 years ago. We are developing a device for tricuspid valve repair. So ours is a annular repair technology. So we're basically trying to help a lot of people here who currently have no medical options.
And so you've got animal data, first in man. Where is the company? How far
Yeah,
along?
so we're early stage right now. So we're in our seed round. We're close to closing it out. We're about 350,000 away from closing out our seed round. So we're doing animal studies. And so the money basically allows us to hire somebody and kind of move out of my garage as well. I created a lab in my garage. I've been working on garage, I guess a true Silicon Valley startup. I have 2 rows of tables with equipment, and I do all my testing there. I have sheep parts in my freezer that I bought from the local butcher, and so I do all my testing there. Yeah, and so we're at our seed round. Then this last part of the money I need to close the fundraising round is going to allow me to finally hire somebody and be able to move out and lease an actual office space. So yeah.
Well, you're truly doing the gritty pathway. I mean, you really haven't been a Silicon Valley medtech entrepreneur, and you have some kind of animal part that you have to explain to your family why this is in the freezer.
I actually scared my wife once. I got some fresh sheep parts from the animal lab that I was doing testing at. They gave me 3 fresh sheep parts from a sheep. It was in a jar of saline solution floating, and I had no time to vacuum seal it and put it in the freezer yet. I had it in the fridge, and it's our drink fridge in our garage, and my wife goes and opens it, and she's like, what is all this? It looks like a lab experiment. And it's like, if somebody else saw that, they might be worried. It was... I have a lot of sheep parts in my fridge.
Is it Halloween already?
Yeah, exactly.
We're building the haunted house in our garage. So what gave you the idea? What was the spark that led to the technology?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I've worked in a mitral valve repair company before, so I knew about the space, and I had this great idea. But at the time, this was like probably 15 years ago, I just didn't have the money or even the courage to start a company. And about 3.5 years ago, I was working at a company that got acquired, and they told me if I wanted to move to Minneapolis, and I said, my wife loves warm weather. She does not like cold weather at all. I think my wife would kill me. The whole happy life, happy wife, or happy wife, happy life thing. And so I was like, yeah, I can't do that, And then literally the week after, we were at my brother-in-law's wedding. And it was in San Francisco, and so it was very hilly. My father-in-law actually walked out to his car, and on his way back, he felt something he never felt before. He had shortness of breath. He had to hold the pole, and then he made it back eventually, but he was scared. He had no idea what was going on. He told us what had happened, and I immediately was like, I think you need to go to a cardiologist and get your heart checked. So later, I go back and it's kind of epiphany. I was like, you know what? It turned out that he did have, and there's a lot of people with issues, with basically enlarged valves, heart valves. And so, the week later, I was like, you know what? I had this idea like 15 years ago. I actually have equipment that I got for free. I used to work at a company that got acquired, and they were getting rid of all their first generation equipment. And I thought, one day I want to be able to start my own company and help people develop my own product. And so I took all the equipment I knew I needed to build catheters with, because I'm a design engineer, catheter engineer. I've been a catheter engineer for close to 20 years, or a little over 20 years now. And it was collecting dust on the top, so I took it off, dusted it off, and that's how I created my first lab in my garage and started building, catheters, and that's how ConKay was formed.
You really are a Silicon Valley entrepreneur. You go to the fire sale, because everything at that point, once they get acquired or if they close, they just need to unload that stuff. So genius, way to go. You're giving lessons all over the place.
Thanks.
So what's going to be next for you? How a lot of investors are here. Are you getting some good good contact points?
Yeah, I mean, it's been great. I met a lot of good, great investors, and we'll continue our conversations. And so, yeah, it's looking so far so good. I just hope to close that last 350,000, crossing my fingers, because that really will allow us to hire an R&D engineer, and be able to finally lease an office space and grow the company and be able to really accelerate this. We're trying to get all our animal studies done this year, in preparation for Series A at the end of next year, or end of this year, sorry.
Very good. Anything else you can share with us today?
No, I just, I love the space. I love, what you guys are doing, getting the community, the medtech community together. I think it's great. I think the fact that all these companies are here, I mean, it's crazy seeing all the companies are here that are trying to create something new to help people. I think it's definitely needed. Everyone's living longer lives these days, and, there's definitely treatment needed, for all these patients with a lot of unmet needs. And going back to my space, I'm working on the tricuspid valve. And so right now, a lot of patients don't have any medical options. There's devices in clinical trials, no devices that are currently approved by the FDA yet. But even the devices in clinical trials have a lot of limitations. And a lot of patients are left with no medical options, just medication. And so my goal is, hopefully I'll be able to, get this device out, so that eventually we could save a lot of people's lives, so they have an option to live longer and live with their loved ones.
Yeah, that's the motivation for just about everybody that's here. If you talk to them long enough, you're going to get that story about somebody in their lives, and that's why they're working on the space that they're working in.
Yeah.
The great thing about healthcare.
Yes, I know. It's great. So I love this space.
Enjoy the rest of your time at LSI, and thanks for coming by the studio.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
Albert Yuan, take one, marker.